Hello. Evening. I'm totally smart enough to know how to do things, such as start the live stream on time for once. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, how can I get the keyboard out of the way if my cat wants to be on the desk? Tom, you do make everything just slightly more difficult. Just so you know. I do love my cat quite dearly. To be clear, he's amazing. Handsome, even. Handsome, even. But he does get a little annoying. Oh, check it out. It's the it's the Keykeeper's dice cover for both the box and the guidebook, actually. Oh, Tom, are you leaving? Are you tired of the desk? You know, Dimitri, it's been a good day. Obviously, launched today. I've already done like 2.5 hours of streaming for this during the launch, and I was doing like 2.5 solid hours of just dice readings for people, which is very fun. I always have a really good time. But yeah, I ate a nice lunch. I got some litter and food for my cat because he was running low. How's your day been, Dimitri? Oh, I sure should have updated this, huh? It still says launch party and everything. Can I fix that during the stream when I should be doing anything else? The answer is, of course, yes, but. Ooh, doo doo, doo doo doo. Dimitri, if you had a really, really long day and you're about to tell me like a life story, I'm ready. I'm ready. Because I asked you how you're. I was at work, so I couldn't attend. Work sucked donkey butt. But hey, I'm home and going to Ren Fair this weekend. Ooh, Ren Fair, how fun! That's actually really awesome. I wish that I was doing like a Ren Fair thing right now. That sounds super delightful. Okay, not launch party. Reading party. Who doesn't like a reading party? Okay, now I just have to find it. Reading party. Here we go. Now it's a reading stream. That's much better. All right. It's like I can't believe it says launch party still. I didn't update my streaming overlay. Like, am I even trying? Do you have a fun outfit or costume or a cosplay even that you're gonna wear to the Ren Fair, Dimitri? Because I bet that you probably have something fun to wear at least. I hope. I think Ren Fairs are so fun because I love doing that. Reading parties should be more common. You know, I don't mind doing readings. I really enjoy giving them actually. I will say that like if I had like a weekly stream where it was like all I do is readings for the whole time, I think I would have fun, but I also worry that I would get such a long list of people, and I just wouldn't be able to get to everyone, and that would just drive me nuts. You spent the last 3 days making jewelry, honeycombs, smocking the sleeves of your homemade dress, and distressing accessories, debating how to attach my Alleyman tarot to my belt for readings. I have. It's not in the room with me, apparently. I have these incredible leather bags that I got from a place called Renaissance Leather, who make bags for like Ren Fairs and stuff. And that's how I put tarot decks or my dice in the wooden container. on my belt when I go to events. So great. Hello. You're here while eating dinner at the dining hall. Finals time. Ooh, Mythic Mystic Moon. Good luck. Gen Chem. My ex is in school again to work towards his master's in organic chemistry, biochem, I guess. And everything that he brings to me, the chemistry stuff, he'll like come over and like work on his homework or like plan or get ready for a test, I guess, study for a test. And I just don't know what he's talking about. It just sounds so fake. Like, chemistry, what do you mean? Who are you? I mean, in general, dice cards, people bring books and just hang out and read together. That sounds really fun. I think that would be delightful. Can you imagine how fun that would be to just be like, everyone come over. We're just gonna hang out and we're gonna just do whatever we want and do some readings for each other. That would be really fun. Like if I had someone else that was here with me and we like took turns giving tarot readings or dice readings, I would be so into that. Just chilling. So, by the way, we are at just about 300 backers. We're at $41,000 of the $75,000 goal. We have 21 days left, which is irrelevant. We launched 6 hours ago. We launched at 11 for me. So we're kind of doing a really great job. It's been just 6 hours. Chemistry was easier in high school and they glossed over the math parts. I did so bad at chemistry in school. As soon as the math formulas came in, I was like, uh-oh. Whoops. You backed this morning at 2 a.m. Oh, that's so great. Well, thanks, Jack. Well, yeah, we're gonna be streaming. I'm streaming alone. There's no one else. I'm streaming for the next 2 hours. If people would like readings, just let me know and I will get you put on the little list. I'm keeping a list this time because I very quickly was losing track of who asked for readings to get everyone in order. I have both sets of dice here. They're just kind of intermingled. Obviously, the Keykeeper's dice don't exist yet, so I have a bunch of stand-ins, but I promise they will work just fine. I'll even mix them apart for you so you can tell what's what. These are the 22, well, this is 21 Keykeeper dice. I don't have the D12. And similarly, actually, this is the 21 Seasons dice. I don't have the D12. It's right here. I don't use it. I added it in because I knew other people liked it last time around when I had a Chaos die. And I just kind of threw him out because I never read with it. I finally did test my mixes for my Nosferatu inspired scents. Ooh. Dimitri, I would love that. When you start these perfumes, you got to hit me up. I would love a Misery Tarot inspired scent. That sounds so great. I wasn't expecting the Keykeeper dice to be available for readings yet. They are in this way, in that they are dice that I have put stickers on and written the names of what all is on there. I have to be able to read with them, right? If I can't read with them, then I won't be able to write about them and what they mean, and I wouldn't have known what the faces are or what they should mean. Yeah, so I have my makeshift set here that I've been doing readings with just so that I'm ready for them all. Yeah, I figured that some people might have an astrology D12 already, but I knew that if I was doing a second D12 and I didn't do astrology, what am I doing here? I know lots of people who'd attack me about it. So yeah, let's get down to it. For everyone who is just joining, I I promise I'm really really good at streaming, and I totally know things such as um I don't know what I just clicked there. I just said I know things, and then I'm like, wait, what am I doing? Um, what I'm trying to say is that I uh, don't super know how streaming works super well, so I do apologize for anything silly I do. I will say that I earnestly am staring at my OBS right now, and I'm like, where does it say how many people are here? How am I supposed to know this? Let me open on YouTube real quick. Does it tell me? Yeah, there's 9 people watching right now. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. Um, welcome for being here. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to chat a little bit about what we're doing. The Goblin's Oracle dice launched today at 10 a.m. Pacific. It is a crowdfunding project on backerkit. Please pop over to backerkit. The link is in the description, also on all my socials and all kinds of places. And what we're funding is Oracle dice sets. So these are 21 of the 22 seasons dice. This is the set that people probably know from the first and second editions of the dice. And then this is my little prototype that I've been reading with for the Keykeeper set. This is made up of some dice and a few other things I've made, but it also has a core 7 dice that are the Keykeeper's dice. I'm pretty excited about these. And what we're doing now is we are doing about an hour and 40, 50-ish minutes here of readings for anyone who is interested. So if you would like a Oracle Dice reading, pop in the chat. Let me know you'd like a reading and what question you've got. And I will happily pick out what dice I think might fit and get your reading moving. I know a number of you are already here ready for a reading. So it's your time. It's your time. And if you don't, I'm going to start threatening people with readings. If you don't say you want a reading, I'm going to just pick people in the chat and be like, this is what you have to know. And it will be threatening, I hope. It'll all be omens of disaster. Important question. Do I need the Misery Tarot or Hot Housewives Tarot to understand the respective dice? Not at all. No. Just like any other dice, when you get the guidebook for the Keykeeper set, it will cover that die and explain what it's about, what the faces mean. You will not need the tarot decks to understand those dice at all. There are 5 dice from the Misery Tarot and 5 dice from the Hot Housewives Tarot that are part of the Keykeeper set. And these are super duper lovely dice that have some really great meaning in their proper decks, but they also are just really, really useful dice to expand what the Oracle dice cover topic-wise. All right, music. Could I get a relationship reading? I would love to do that. Let's do a relationship reading. I want to show off what the Keykeeper's dice maybe have going on. So let's throw these in, and then I want just a couple characterizers. All right. Frankie must die. You will be next. All right. Music life. Let's get a relationship reading going. Get out of here, dice. Ooh. One of these definitely ran away. I'll bring it back on screen just so you can see it, but I will talk about it as though it ran away, because it did. We start in the center with Fuel Lavender and the disc from the Suits die. The core right here is like the center of the reading. This is the standard seasons grid. I read with it as a crutch because it's the one that I use the most. I'll flip over later. So in your core here, we have lavender. There's definitely something here where you're really focused on becoming really open. You're focusing a lot on like being calm and open to the possibility of relationships and what could be going on between you and other people. We also have the disc here that's verging on body. The disc is from the suits die, so it's talking about pentacles like in tarot. We're definitely talking about material goods. And verging on body. Body is the quarter that deals with what you are putting out in the world, what work you're doing physically. Lavender's leaning spirit, which is more about your heart. I don't think they actually relate much, but it definitely feels like you're putting active effort into things occurring, and you're also being open to the possibility of romance or relationship entanglements, whatever they are. Over here in mind, I do have Sin with the owl. Sin is one of the key keepers. The owl face is about a dark owl that is watching. I would say that you're spending probably a lot of time watching people that you might be interested in from a distance. You're spending less time interacting with them in a direct way. This is probably not doing you any favors in making things directly happen. It means you're being observant, which isn't bad. Way out here in spring is the ocean, water on the elements die. And it went off the grid here, which means that it is actually a lost die. It's something that comes back later in your life. It's not particularly pertinent at the moment. But what this is telling me is that there's a lot of depth to what you're dealing with mentally and what you're thinking about when it comes to relationships. I have to say that just already it feels like you are not jumping into the depths of what would be possible for you right now because you're spending a lot of time being separate. Hey, everyone say hi to Ezra who just joined the chat. Ezra actually did the design on this mat and also illustrated the Lords. Tom is about to join us for a reading, and I'm sure he won't screw anything up. All right, scoot it along, mister. That means you. That means you. Oh, you already moved something. Sit your butt down, young man. He's gonna start batting dice soon, because that's how you add chaos to your readings. All right. Yeah, you have fun with that. We have nothing in body, really. This was in the core. And over here in material is where everything is resting. We have the sword and shield, which tells me you have tools to take action here, which is delightful. Wound, rising sun. This here's telling you that it is probably a routine interaction that you spend a lot of time with people who are routinely building up an important relationship with you. This means that even though you might be a little passive and just watching, other people are spending day by day like thinking about you and building you up in their mind, which is really great. We have Tell's worry. This is telling me that you might be a little worried at the moment. All right, you just steal the house, young Tom Bombadil. You think you can just do that? Gotta put this back. Jeez. We're Rowan, Fell, Release, and Mal, the Screaming Monkey. Okay. You are being kind of supported by someone here. This is a really strange space to me. We don't have a circle. It's something similar. I would say that there's like a protective energy. We have worry, release. Mm-hmm. You are trouble. I'm holding it here. I'm just going to talk about this die before he steals it again. Out in winter, this is like what you're feeling. There's a sense of home. This is a pervasive space that is affecting everything else. There's a lot happening outside of you, and I think that's why you're kind of just quietly watching. I'm wondering if there's multiple other people who might be interested in you for a relationship. There's someone who thinks that they could be protective. There's someone who's worried about what's going on with you. There's someone who's letting go of you. These definitely can't all be the same person. But there's also this sense that someone's really frustrated with you. And so that does make me wonder, is that why you're being a little bit passive and like watching? Is it because there are multiple people you're dealing with? I don't know. That's a hard one. But it looks like there is possibility for you, and you are doing some work to be open and ready for a relationship. So I think that the only thing you have to change is what's going on here. Just change the mind. Right now, you're being very passive, and you're letting people kind of make the decisions for you. Don't do that. There was a lot of activity here, but almost none in body. You have to take some action now. All right. Yes, we're still taking reading requests. Murky T will come after Frankel. Hey, stop it. You can't attack my pencil too. Oh my gosh. And then Jason. Frankie must die. My question. I want an omen of disaster. I have a question, but I'm really tempted by omens of disaster. Omens, you say? Then I think we have to do like major. I want my seasons dice. And I want to bring the keys out for that because I feel like keys and seasons just feels good. Oh, Tom. These are two in your zone. You're so ready to just kill every die you see. Okay. There's joy and there's protection in the core. In your mind, I see stress. We're tracking. Okay, you're following something that's building stress. Immediately outside of that is Tell's worry face. And, ooh, the Queen of the Night. Okay, you wanted like an omen. So there's your omen. Your omen is you're following something that keeps driving you nuts. You have this deep worry that is pervasive to everything you're doing. The more that you follow it, the more you'll worry. And that's why stress is really central right here. You do have Rowan here, which is telling me that you are probably taking some kind of active steps to try to protect yourself from it. But it looks like it could be very fleeting. Situations are changing pretty rapidly for you. In body, the things that you're doing in the world, there's loss. It seems like you have a disconnect here. There's something that you're going to be forced to let go of, and that might be a pretty rapid occurrence. I know what these dice are. You can play with them. I don't care. In material, we have change. This is the autumn die in autumn. This is a very, very potent thing here. The thing that you're losing is something that happens beyond you, and it's something you have no real ownership or ability to control. There will be sorrow that comes along with this change, but it's verging on wheel, which is telling me that the sorrow is going to be a good thing. You're losing, but the loss is going to feel maybe cathartic. It's going to be releasing. Mal is yearning here. We have freedom, and we have the owl once more. I'm definitely reading for you a sense that your heart needs, but your mind, your actions, your body, you have not made the choice. What's going to occur here is you're going to have to let go of something because it's leaving you regardless. And as part of that leaving, you're going to experience a hopefully cathartic joy, a cathartic cry, a nice cry. You're going to become free of something, but it does look like something's kind of watching over. Like having the owl out in winter is like your heart is being weighed on by something really heavy, and I think that that's not being dealt with yet. What you're following that's causing all this stress that you're gonna have to let go of is something that's just going to sit on you and watch for some time, at least in your heart, which is where you feel. All right, that was your omen. You're losing something and it's heavy, darn it. Murky T. Threaten me with a generalish life reading. Perhaps a focus for pursuing or expanding self-employment via creative means. Yeah, we can definitely give it a try. Is Tom part of the reading? Do his pause add emphasis? I think that Tom is definitely part of the reading on account of look at him. How could he not be? Isn't he precious? I love him. But seriously, I'm just reading around him. I'm trying to watch what dice end up near him and then just know what they are so that when I get over to them, I don't have to worry about what he's done to move them. The little butthead. All right. Murky T. Let's see. You're interested again. We'll grab the seasons. We will grab maybe attentions, actions. You're worried about projects. We'll grab goblins. I just like throwing the Mariners die in. All right, Tom. You gotta get out of the way while I roll. Wait, you had another die? Crap. I just said that I was doing a good job at watching him, but I am not. All right, he's next to Saru over there. I'll remember this. All right, Murky T, let's see what we can do. Immediately, there's sacrifice with the seed. You're going to have to give things up if you want to start new things. If you want to engage in creativity as some kind of long-term project here. Okay, all right. You're such a punk. Tom really wants you to know that this belongs there. In order to work on new things, especially if you're going to create anything new, you're going to have to give up things. And this does not mean giving up one project to work on another. To me, this is definitely reading as you're going to have to give up other things in your life if you want to work that way. There may be creature comforts you have to let go of. There may be like situations that you just can't manage if you're also going to try to do a creative side hustle. I do see time here verging on body, which is telling me that this is something that you feel you have limited time for. It's also something you're going to have to get on. I would say that instead of like a temporary opportunity, thanks, Tom. Instead of a temporary opportunity, what you're looking at is a feeling that you're going to have to do double time if you want to get all of this stuff together. My dear Kitty, I believe that this was over here, but thank you. So in mind, we do have sorrow, which is telling me that you are facing some real difficulty accepting the things you're probably going to have to let go of in order to chase creative pursuits. You are struck with inspiration. You have really great, exciting ideas that are going on right now. The question becomes like, does having a beautiful creative idea necessitate you have to make the idea? And that's something I have to ask myself a lot because I make too many things and I end up overlapping all my projects way too much because I just keep wanting to make more things. And the question becomes like, is that actually reasonable to hold on to? Up here in Woe, we have Neon. Neon is a difficult friend here. It means that there's a lot of attention desired. The question is, because it's in Woe, will all that desire come along? I don't know. I would say probably not. You were over here and you were time. I love that Tom's just changing this whole reading. But I'll just keep reading. In body, we now have passing. You're going to have to let things end if you want new things to begin. In material, the seed did come over here from earlier. Was it on seed? Tom, what did you flip it to? Neon is the showman's die? Yes, it is. It's the attention's die. Over here, we do have the knot with the sun. You're going to make something really simple very complicated, or more likely other people are going to make it really complicated, and that's going to be tied directly to the sun. I'm going to view the knot with the sun as like the knot is winding around the sun. The sun is usually about things being really positive. It did start over here in wheel. It was a very, very good thing. Tom has moved it to the knot, so I'm going to let you decide which one it should be. my initial understanding of it was that it was facing up to really positive vibes you're going to have going on in your life if you do choose to pursue this. But the key thing is recognizing the amount of sacrifice, because the sacrifice was in the core of the reading. You're going to have to let go of a lot of things. You might be a little threadbare, and you'll likely financially be pretty threadbare. But the vibes are going to be great. You're going to feel really good about chasing your dreams and following for creative things. But do not become mistaken. Very simple material financial things might become more complicated because of this. Do you have one other die you're keeping? No. All right. You know, sometimes omens of disaster are great. Okay. I have Jason listed, but Jason has deleted a message, so maybe Jason's not gonna ask a question. That's okay. Up next was Flip. My dear Flip Mouse. I love our reading. It's fascinating to see the dice at work in the hands of their creator. Oh, thanks. Flip, do you just want a general reading? What do you think? What do you think, Flip? And after Flip was Dimitri. And then Mythic, did you ask? Yeah. My dear Flip Mouse. Dimitri Doulahan. You have a... Aw, thanks. You have a lovely voice. That's so sweet. All right, Flip. A general life is stuck reading. We can do that. Oh, Jason, that's okay. Jason, shoot your question when you're ready, and after Flip, I'll do yours. Let's do some weird dice. Let's not use any of the core stuff. All right, Tom. How are you going to help out this reading, my guy? Move this just a little onto camera so that we can see them. All right. No, it's okay. Flip, I was thinking of you, so you're the one getting it. Wow, these two faces side by side is so cool. I don't know if you can see them, but they're both like eyes. They're the same exact design, but one of them has a person in it. That's so neat. There is a desire to be seen here, coupled with truth. You really want people to see you for the truth. I'm getting a feeling that maybe people have seen you in false lights. Maybe people have listened to gossip or something like that. But you really just want to be understood. That's a really core element here. I've never rolled those dice side by side like that. They've never done that. That's so fun. They do make a face. They'll make two eyes. All right, Tom, get your hand out of the way. Over here in between mine and spirit, we have on the influence die, this is good intentions. It seems like other people have had good intentions involving you, but it has led to difficulty for you because what they ended up doing ended up being maybe even harmful for you, which makes a lot of sense with the core here. Out in mind on the edge of spring, I see the crown, which tells me that the things that are like hanging over your head right now, the things you're thinking about a lot and how other people are affecting you with their actions and their thoughts are pretty tantamount to the reading. They might as well be in the core, which again really relates to these other three dice. In body, I see the heart kind of pulled in two ways. It looks like the heavier of which is pulling away from you, the smaller of which is towards woe. It feels like people that maybe you trusted are misinterpreting or misunderstanding you, and that is definitely kind of breaking your heart here. In material, I see the scythe. Someone is using tools that are very, very focused and intentional against you. I'm getting generally negative vibes about that. There's nothing to the die that's telling me that, but based on everything else in the narrative that's kind of building through the reading, I see a metal tool that's very particular being probably used against you in this case. Someone might have misunderstood something you said or did, and that's causing them to have like really difficult opinions relating to you. We have this Mystic Fire, which is super great. We've got the Ace of Spades next to Wheel, which tells me that like ultimately something is going to be coming out that will deal with the issue. I don't think that there's a lasting problem by any means. The Ace of Spades usually talks about like the silver bolt in the gun, like just the thing you need, and it's at Wheel and it's coming from external. It's telling me that like probably other people will just figure out the error of their ways, but the pervasive outside feeling here is separate. It's like there's you and other people, but you're separated, which is telling me that you temporarily at least are going to have like some space that you might need from this other person or these other people if there's more than one. Arcane Fire here is resting. This is actually such a great moment for me to be like, hey everyone, this is what a cheat sheet card will look like for your dice. The magic flame here is true magic. Sometimes what you need to get through something is a miracle, and they do happen, but they're rare. This is a good sign, I think, with the Ace of Spades and also Emergence, that someone's going to come out to you in a way that you didn't expect. They're going to change in a way that you didn't realize they would. And that's going to like all work together here to just be a very positive thing that will change the situation. So if you're having problems with people right now, I would just advise you to be a little bit patient, because other people are already figuring it out and they will surprise you with how they kind of come together and understand what's going on. So I think that's great. I think it's a positive situation. Jason, if you have a reading, please shoot it. I'm ready to do yours. Otherwise, let's see. There's Dimitri and then Mythic Mystic Moon after that. Jason Webster, my dear friend. You have approximately, I don't know, like a minute. You're allowed to take your time. I'm actually really hyped about the cheat sheet cards, because they're like color coded. So if you are learning the dice, for example, you will have a die for each one of these. You'll have a card for each one of the dice. And the way it'll work is when you go and you're like grabbing your dice and you're like, okay, these are the ones that I want to read with, you'll basically just be able to color match it and you'll be able to pull it out. When you roll, you'll be like, okay, it's not one of these faces, it's this one, bricks. Okay, and it'll tell you what it means. It's going to be a great way to learn. It's also going to have information right here on what book, what guidebook that die is in, and specifically what page that dice's section is. So this is going to be so great, and you're all going to be so excited. It's going to be so easy to learn the dice like never before. Then they're color coded. The last thing I want to add is in the corner, the stone dice type. GD, you are not too late. There are 3 people ahead of you, but that's okay. We have time. Okay. Jason, I just want to know what I need to know for my best self. I think that's really clean and nice. I want to give you maybe a fun, weird set of dice. All right, so we're going to use the Misery and the Housewife dice. We're going to kind of like look at maybe things you're working on, things you're working through, and how you're maybe relating to the people around you. So let's take a look. Whoop. We have one that left. And the one that left was routine. Interesting. I might put it right here just so we can see it, but he actually left. Okay, let's start in the core. Oh, wait, there's no core. All right, no core. Let's start in mind. We see loyalty to capital and progress of work. Um, I would say, first of all, Jason, uh, Tom stopped a couple too. He's really good at that. He's very helpful. Jason, we're looking at a space where you're thinking probably predominantly in your mind about like work, money. Um, and I would say that these are kind of dominating your space. This could be because of some scarcity. You might be in a situation where you don't have a lot of money going on, and so you're really focused on it. Or it could be that you're very focused on your job because there's a lot happening there and you're very, very busy. Um, or it could be that you have no job at all and you're very focused on trying to have one because money is very dominant. In any case, both of these are pretty focused on the concept of work, specifically in the sense of like your career or your job, and also money and your need and perhaps even loyalty to it to whatever extent is necessary for your life. Many of us, unfortunately, need to be loyal to capital to make our lives function. Starting there, there's a few things that can happen in this reading, but I think what's likely is that we're going to learn a lot about maybe what else is happening in your life that is missing a lot of your attention because money is such a focus. Way off in the distance, lost in spring, so it left the mat off this way, is the betrayer. The betrayer is telling me that you're going to have an experience where someone's definitely like Jekyll and hiding. Or you yourself might even be having this experience where the longer that you spend with this necessity to focus on financial, the further you end up becoming a difficult person to take care in, or to take trust in. Over in body, we have redacted history and we have fear of endings. At this moment, you are spending a lot of time working through stuff that basically is like the backlog of work that you've had to do. It seems to me like you are probably pushing through either the like leftover problems of other people's labor. Maybe it didn't work out very well with them, or you yourself have a lot of stuff that you have to work through. And if that relates to your work, I could see your job being in a position right now where you are struggling to catch back up through all the things you've been dealing with. You're also really, really struggling with this concept that once you've finished the work, it might be over. There's two ways I would read that. One of which is that you're nervous that things will never end. You're always redoing work, perhaps. Or on the flip side, it may be that you're stuck in a place of worry that once you finish what you're doing, you're not going to be as necessary. I'm not sure like what your job situation actually is. So I'm like, there's a lot of ways I can read that, a lot of through lines. Over here in material, the rad suit and sorrow. It seems like other people have kind of inoculated themselves to the difficult situation you're dealing with, whatever's going on with your job or your finances. Other people in your life are kind of like pushing away from what you're dealing with. They've put on their rad suits, so to speak, and that is leaving you in a position where you might feel a little alone in it. I think this is, calling back to what I said earlier, where I feel like having your mind be entirely focused on these particular things, money in this case, is going to kind of alienate you from other people in this situation. The tenderizer. This is the second time I've used the weapons die, and it's the tenderizer every time. The tenderizer, but it is near wheel. I would say that like a lot of the difficulties that you're facing right now are things that are broad reaching, and that's actually kind of a good thing for you, because if anything is really sharp in one particular area or felt like a very particular catastrophe right now, I'm getting the sense that that just would not work well for you. You're kind of under a lot of stress, and it's kind of helpful that things are reaching across in the ways that they've become difficult, stressful, or even painful. But that doesn't mean that they're good. Uh, I'm still noticing this is kind of not great. Routine is over here. It rolled off the mat, but it is in winter. It's tied to how you're feeling about this. I'm getting a sense that you might need to build a new routine that doesn't focus you on money This might mean budgeting really, really tightly, but then making a routine that lets you enjoy your life in ways that aren't your job. Taking part in maybe a lot of free things, morning wake ups with a nice walk. If you have a local park, going there on lunch, if that's something you can do, or after work. There's definitely something here that's suggesting you're going to need a new routine that's going to support you emotionally to deal with the stress. I'm also seeing that there is a real deep sense of competition going on. That would suggest to me that maybe a lot of the other people that you're working with are maybe your competitors. There may have been like layoffs at your job that you feel like you're competing for a position to be worthwhile and not lose what you have. Those are my interpretations, but I feel like if I knew more about a situation, I'd have a more clear through line. But I'm definitely reading a lot of potential worries and financial woes in particular. Mythic Mystic Moon, yeah. Community clubs could also be very helpful for that kind of situation. All right. After GD, I know someone else came in and just asked for something. Right. Moya, cool. So up next is Dimitri. And then Mia. Oh no. Yes. Dimitri, can you remind me of your question? I'm going to scroll up and find it. Should I follow through starting my own business? That's probably what's stressing me out the most right now, especially with everything going on in the country. Oh my gosh. You're so right. Yeah, Mia, I have Moya on here just before you, but your names were very similar, so then I started like slurring your names together. But yeah, I've got you. Dimitri, starting your own business. As someone who's experiencing the struggle right now, I totally understand. We're going to go a little bit of comfort roll for me. We're just going to go with some seasons. Cool. There's a lot of things happening right now. Okay. It was really funny. If you watch the campaign video and you get to the end, I have like a little blooper thing, and it's just because I was editing and I looked at it and I was like, I just hang my head at one point and go, I hate being alive. And it looks like it's a funny bit, but it was just how I felt at that moment. I was like, damn, okay, so real. All right, we have a triangle right here in the core, which is pretty exciting. Whimsy and verging on material tell me that someone else's whimsy is controlling a lot of your choices here. Based on your question, this could be as big as society, the country, politics, some particular presidential individual whose whimsical ideas and nonsense opinions are literally materially making it difficult for you to make this kind of decision. Right here we have excess verging on spirit from the core. There's an abundance of desire and hope from you on working on this. This is something that maybe has been overflowing. You might have even need to have started this sooner as far as you're concerned, because you have so much drive in your heart that you really, really want to put into it. Indie Kitty, I need a guidebook, but not a second set of dice. What do you mean? Just buy the guidebook. It's an add-on for the season set if you just need a new guidebook. Or do you mean you just want 2 guidebooks? Because I don't... You could do that with the seasons, but you can't really do it with the key keepers, I guess. The guidebooks are always free on my website anyways for the PDF. So we also have the Goblin here. It's not verging anything, but it's kind of in the mind area. This is abnormality. Abnormality is very focused on the parts of you that are strange and bizarre and that maybe people particularly see. This is something that usually I just suggest really lean into it. Love yourself for your oddities, especially like if their personality, especially if they're physical, like love who you are in your entirety. The fact that it's here among this triangle though is telling me like you might feel like your abnormality in your business is a very particular focus niche thing and could be difficult. Um, yeah, I'm gonna guess that you might feel like it's not the right time for your business because you're worried it's too niche. Over here in mind, I see passing. That's interesting. Do you have another thing that you're letting go of to try to chase this business? Because that's something that you're really stuck on. Um, you seem generally focused on how something's dying in order to start this business. Whatever that is seems to be a pretty big hurdle. Um, Over here, we do have Mercury and Woe kind of bridging mind and body. It's telling me that you are facing some difficulty there. Things are too fluid between what you are seeing and thinking and what you're trying to actually physically do. It might be that you just haven't built a proper solid plan. And because it's so formless, it is going to be such a crux of it not working. So I would really, really focus on trying to um, make something really, really solid as a base before you get into it. Your body, I see milkweed and other. Milkweed is usually talking about you like pausing to gain sustenance. In body, which is usually what you're doing to affect the world, having, hey, sit down and do nothing, rest for a while. It's meaning you're probably not doing much action related to this. And others tell me there's another person kind of lording over you that is maybe causing you to take a long rest instead of doing something. In material, I see the wheel of the gambler's die, the fate die. It's saying that like, unfortunately, with Whimsy, I'm gonna say like the same way I generally feel about owning a business at the moment. Things are so up in the air and so incredibly out of your control that it leaves you in a position that you don't have much in the way of choice, which is not the greatest thing to hear. I would say externally, separate from the reading, starting a business right now is so difficult. If you were doing it all digital, it'd be one thing. Doing it otherwise, things are just a lot less available. So I would just be aware of that. Prices are going up in a lot of ways. There's a lot of weird confusion about scarcity and the tariffs and everything. I will also say crowdfunding has definitely been leaner lately than normal. So I would be patient. If you can work on other things while you build a plan for your business, I would do that for now until things are a little more solidified economically in the country, assuming you're in the US. Sorry, I'm just kind of assuming that. But out here, Spirit and Winter, I see snow. I think that you're maybe fantasizing a little bit too much about what it could be to have the business instead of doing what you're currently doing. You're a cake decorator at the moment. It's your full-time job. There might be something to the perfume that is really, really hitting you, and you're like, if I could do this, it would be this beautiful fantasy in some way. I would definitely just let you know, like, your rose tinting glasses the future a little bit in how you're thinking about this. Be patient, build a plan, and pull some of your hopes on it at the moment. At least for the moment. You know, time will change. The tariffs were said that they would be rolled back, but we have yet to see it. But who knows what could happen next? I have Mystic Mythic Moon next for reading, and I know that you are. I know you had a question because you asked it, I believe. I'm scrolling. I would like a reading on how finals, dramatic thunderclap, will go for me. How I did on my chem exam and how the rest will go. And please have Tom choose a die for me. Tom, pick dice. Come on. Wake up. Wake up, dummy. Pick a die. What do you like? Oh, so now you're a big sleepy boy? You're not even going to play with them? You're not going to try to eat them? Okay, how will finals go? How are your tests doing? Nothing? Tom's not available for a reading right now, so unfortunately you get me. um, I'm gonna show something um, that you can do with Seasons dice and the Seasons grid on a little bit of a deeper level with just 4 dice. Okay, so this is the Seasons grid. It has like the specific areas Seasons dice go, and the Seasons dice are super cool, super cool. But where they end up also has a lot to do with what is happening here. So I'm going to say right now, you're starting in the core, you have time. You're definitely feeling a time crunch at the moment. I would say that you feel like you don't have the space to get fully ready for your finals, which is kind of given. It's verging on mind, which is doing a couple things. Number one, spring quarter here, autumn die here. It's not where it belongs. It's telling me that you're probably misplacing your fear and worry about a limited time frame. Because of that, I'm going to say that this is probably negligible. You're spending all your time thinking like, I don't have the time to do this. Oh, I just can't do this. It's possible you might be even overstudying or cramming too much in at once, and that's actually working against you. You're losing information too quickly because you're not engaging in the study and the preparation in the same way that you maybe should to gain that stuff. Over here, we have summer. Having winter here, winter's very weak. It doesn't have a lot of power. Spring is coming too late. So we have snow. Snow is telling me that you are glossing over probably a lot of the specific details of the things that you're looking at. You're looking at the whole shape. This can be really helpful for early studying, right? When you're just trying to get the outline of understanding of what you're looking at. But looking for the whole shape of things is not helpful when you need to find details. So first of all, I'm saying what you're currently doing needs to become a little more focused on the specific bits of information you should know. And that's going to be very supportive for you. I do see sex here. It's telling me that there's probably a lot of bodily needs that are being maybe ignored. And bodily needs doesn't mean literal sex in this case. It can. I don't know. It's up to you. But it's looking like you might be rushing in such a way that you're not taking very good care of yourself. And in that case, you should probably do that because that might also be of assistance to your studying. We have nothing material, which is actually really good. This is telling me that there's nothing external that's affecting your ability to study and prepare for these tests. It's also telling me that there are no external factors making you perform poorly on the tests. You have pretty much entirely all the control here, which is great. Over here in Spirit, we have the star. This is the summer die. It also is in the opposite quadrant and not where it belongs. So I'm going to let you know that it has pretty weak element here. As the star, it's looking at your emotions and your goals, how those things interact. I think that focusing too much on performing in the test and creating scenarios in your head about what will or won't work in the future as a result of your success or failure is probably just causing more issues than it's helping. You might benefit a lot more from putting away goals entirely while you're working on it and instead just think about the material. And I think that really, again, is supported by the fact that this is in the complete wrong quarter. It's the opposite. If it was coming early or late or whatever, that's one thing, but it's in the opposite. And I think that really tells me everything I need to know. Stop thinking about the future as much. Don't gloss over the facts. Stop worrying about the time that you have. You have the time you need. Just use the time you have and it's good. The only real important advice here otherwise is be sure to take care of yourself while you're doing all this work. Otherwise, I think that things should work well. Hey, GD, if you are here, I know that you are ready. I know that you want your reading. I'm in. Have I shown up too late for a reading? No, you have not, GD. So you need to get me a question. While we wait for GD to get that, I would love Moya's question, which you've already typed. Thank you, Moya. There is so much to do and I have limited time when not at day job. Where do I focus? How do I pick what to focus on? Okie dokie. Let's do this. I love influences. Maybe helpful. Let's see what fates are going on, what work you've got to do. I'm really coming to view the fantasy die is really helpful for like projects and energy focusing. I want the element. All right. No core for this reading. Whenever there's nothing in the core in a reading, it doesn't mean that there's no important point. It just usually means that there's no specific focus or that the answer is multifaceted. It has different, talents that are necessary for you to gain understanding. So in mind, we have nothing, but just outside of there in spring, we have the ocean. Moya, my sweet friend. I hope that you're here. One of the things I realize is I start doing these readings, and when the list gets long, I get to people's stuff, and I'm not even sure if they're here when I'm telling them what their answer is. So Moya, I hope you're here. So out in spring, we have the ocean. The ocean is telling me that there is a lot of open depths to what you're thinking about lately, which is telling me that your question was like, I have a lot of things I'm trying to do. Which things should I focus on? I would say you have a pervasive feeling of there's too much to do. And so you're just not willing to make choices when it comes to how to focus. Because reading aside, the easy answer to your question is always going to be pick one thing and do that, right? Because it's easy to have choice paralysis when there's so much going on. And I experience this all the time because I always have so many projects going where every day I'm like, what should I be working on right now? And I'm like, blah. GD, thank you. I'll get to your question as soon as I'm done with Moya. Thank you for getting that in. So yeah, number one, Moya, is just like you have to just pick one thing to do. And the reading here is like saying that like there's so much going on that you have no thoughts in your mind. You're like, it's too much to do. I can't pick a thing. There's no like time or space. So I probably can't do it. In body, I see the quill, which tells me that you are making efforts to like write. This may be in essence like plan something, but the fact that you are planning and not doing any of the things is telling me like you're still not necessarily getting any of it done. We have the sun and moon here, which usually tells me that this is another one of those moments, just because I only have 3 of the cheat sheet cards right here. The sun moon speaks to the shifting of time. What was doable then may no longer be doable now. Accept this for what it is. The change of the tides, circumstances. Do not despair. The time to act will come again. So what you're seeing right here between body and material is that some of the things that you are thinking you need to do are things that maybe you can't even do right now. Maybe they're not even available. Take some of the stuff off of your chest, take it off of your brain. Some of it is not doable in the moment, especially one of the things is some of it's not doable until you do a different step. So pick one thing that is doable right now, do that. In without and summer, we have the gut wound. Oh, okay. The gut wound usually deals with either like a sense of betrayal or something that hits you, sucker punches you, you really don't expect it. I'm getting the feeling that one of the reasons you feel you can't get some of these things done or what to pick is like maybe you've tried in the past and you've been really struck by someone else's thoughts or opinions that might have put you off trying. That's curious. It's kind of hanging over body because it's out in summer. So it's telling me like it's something that's really weighing on when you make choices. And with the quill, I'm wondering if you're like over planning things on account of you feel like you've tried before and people judged what you did do. We have the train over here in material. Again, because I've got it right here. What does the train mean? It's the sign that you may join the movement of others. Together, you can use your cumulative power. You can ride the wave. There are other people who are working on the same things you are to some extent, and you can potentially hop on board with them. This could mean co-working with someone. It could also mean asking for help and getting assistance. This is not other people do it for you, though. You're still going to have to do it, but it is very likely that this is a way to team up to work on something. Be open to it. Other people are available, whether it's friends or family, whoever. Someone can assist you. Be prepared to share the burden a little bit. Other people appear to be ready for it is the more important part of that. I do have arcane influence here, which tells me that there's an influence external to you that is affecting what you feel you can do, but it's also affecting how you feel. But the arcane symbol means that it's something you don't understand yet and you may never understand. That's difficult. It's telling me there's like an unknown quantity here and you just kind of have to work around it. This could mean anything, but it is definitely external. We have the little jackpot here. We have the 777. It's telling me that somewhere in here you're looking for just the... That sounds bad. You're not looking for an easy way out like you just want someone to handle it for you, but you are looking for the easy way out as in the one answer that solves all the problems. That's not present. You have to do one thing. You can't find the thing that takes care of everything. Oh, I feel like I'm talking to myself. Out here in winter, we have the wand. It's telling me that a lot of your woe in your feelings and emotions right now, like a lot of the things that feel negative to your heart, is a lack of ability to pick a direction to go in. And then we have water here, which is on like within and spirit and mind. And it's basically the same thing as the ocean for this reading. Everything feels fathomless and huge and impossible. But really, it's just, you can't pick one thing that solves everything else. You just have to take it one step at a time. And even if other people don't agree with your choices of what thing to focus first, that doesn't matter. Find the most base denominator here, right? Pick the simplest, easiest thing to go into, and that's where you start. Anything that doesn't require anything else to already be done. All right, GD. I have a book I want to write. Am I biting off more than I can chew? How can I get out of my way and do it? What do I need to be aware of as I set out to bring this world to life? Before I even roll dice, I'm going to tell you the advice that I give anyone who wants to write a book. You just have to do it. And that's there's no easy, advice. There's no magical answer to it. So many people have ideas for books, and so few people end up writing them. And it's entirely because they don't sit down and write it. I would say, first of all, just start writing. Don't even plan. It's your first draft. You're going to heavily revise and edit it anyways. Just start writing. Just sit down and do it. And until you're doing that, and semi-regularly, so that it starts to form up and become the full book, that's it. So before I even do a reading for you, that's how it works. Are you biting off more than you chew? This is more of a question that I think the dice would care about. Is this something that fits into your life right now? Is this something that you have the space and time for? Can it come later? Can it never happen? Let's see. I'm actually obsessed. I'm grabbing completely random dice at the moment. I don't even know what I'm grabbing. I have no particular plan for what I'm rolling. And we'll see that there's always a story to tell no matter what. Okay, we have no core. GD, that's all right. What else follows us here? Out in mind, I see sacrifice. Yet again, in order to write the book, you're going to have to sacrifice some of your time. In order to sit down and make it real, you have to give it the space in your life for it to happen. This is something that's really hard for people sometimes. And it's the main reason a lot of people don't bother ever writing their books. It's because they don't ever sit down and make it happen, and they're afraid to ever try. I'm not sure entirely always why, but most of the time it's because it's a labor-intensive thing that takes time out of your day. It means instead of coming home and watching TV or playing a video game or doing whatever you do after you get off work, you sit down and you write your book. That gives up some of your evenings, and that's something that you have to be ready to give up in order to do it. Body, these are things that you're working on and doing. There is a road here. Ooh, okay. So first of all, we have oppression here. Yeah, Tom has woken up. Say hello to Tom, everyone. Tom Bombadil, hero. I see oppression. I'm getting the sense that you feel like you are super stuck on the idea of actually getting started writing. So much of this is probably self-induced. All right, kitten, get your paw out of here. We've been good without you messing everything up. We do have wood here, which is the resource that we can renew, which helps us make foundations. Do not forget to renew it for yourself. And then we have the path directly above it. So this is the start of the path. The start of the path is creating a renewing resource that will keep you working. This means making a routine for you to actually work on this book. The paths are not attached to anything. There's no dice on either side of the path here necessarily. So I'm reading as kind of a through line here. You feel like you have no option to actually get started on this book, but it actually is doable, and it looks like you can and are able to set up a renewing path that puts you on the path to writing it, at the very least. What the outcomes are is something else. Whether or not you're happy with the book at the end, or like that's not said here, but to get on the path to start writing it at all, that's that. Material. We have gift, and we have the monarch butterfly. This is pretty straightforward to me. This is definitely like a future thing. The gift to you of finishing your book will be a complete, finished, beautiful thing. It will be in the world. It will touch other people. This is good. I'll say it's worth it, at least. That's what I'm being told. I do see out in autumn, I see other. This means that someone is like kind of lording over you in relation to this book. It might seem to me like sacrificing some of your time all the time to write this book could remove you from another person, or maybe another person doesn't think you should do it and has had some, poo-pooing to say about you doing it. So I'm not sure what that's all about. Hey, Tom, did you just roll this? Because I'm not sure. What does it mean, Tom? Right now it's Mercury, but was it iron? Did it get flipped? This is a live stream. I could so easily find out. Did you all know that? I can just go like this. Wait, what? Yeah, like that. Let's see, before Tom started moving, it was always Mercury. Cool. That's so helpful. So Mercury is here in spirit. Basically, like your heart and your emotional fulfillment and everything is really malleable. You could be happy not writing the book. You could be happy writing the book. It doesn't look like the key to your like core happiness depends on the book at all. This is entirely something that you have to decide that you logically want to do. So yeah, I think you should do it because it looks like there is something really positive that comes out at the end. And I don't see anything here that says you don't have the time or space to work on it, or that it's too much for you to take on. I do see you'll have to let go of some stuff to do it, and it could stress a relationship you have with another person. However, it is still a positive thing that is a gift that you kind of get to give to the world, and that also that you get to give to yourself. So I think it's worthwhile. I think you have the time for it. You just have to create a routine that will keep you on it. All right. That takes us to Mia. Oh, you just asked your question. Perfect timing, Mia. Was there anyone else who'd asked for reading who would be coming up next? Because if not, I think Mia's the last one I have. Let's see. Can we crowdfund a workshop where you share your wisdom for writing books and organizing creative projects and other sage advice? Murky T, that sounds delightful. I would actually really love to do stuff like that, honestly. I would love to make little fun side things where I just talk about like what it's like to run a bajillion crowdfunding projects. The thing is, I know they won't make a ton of money. And at the moment, I'm still in the phase of I have to make a ton of money to keep the business moving with all the moving parts and the tariffs and the blah, blah, blah. So for right now, unfortunately, I'm still stuck in like large projects, but I really am hoping I get to work on some smaller, cleaner ones soon. Things that can just be like, here's one book. There's 2 add-ons, 1 pledged here. And let's do that. Okay. Oof, da, 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 da. But workshop would be fun too. Yeah, Mythic Mystic Moon, you get it. There's momentum you got to get working on. Why would you do what? What? My roommates are in the other room talking, and I don't know what they're talking about. Who knows? All right. Well, Mia, you are last on the list for now. I'm sure someone else will want reading here soon. But Mia, you are also writing. You're distracted by self sabotage. That's what you think it is. My question is, do I turn my efforts external or do more inward focused work? Okay. I'm in, Mia. Let's go. I did a just seasonal reading. So let's do a just key keepers reading. Because I love my key keepers. All right, Tom, move your hands. Move your tiny cat hands. Okie dokie. Move it so you can see it, but it is out in summer. And this is under my cat, but it's there. All right. No core to this reading, Mia. However, we have things just on the edges of them, so we'll get to those in a minute. Starting in mind, we have mal, pain. It seems like something here is not working in a way that you feel like you're stuck in a pain tunnel. This might mean that you feel like it's kind of masochistic for pushing and pushing and pushing. It might feel like writing it for you is like forcing yourself to do it, and that's making it a painful, frustrating chore, which is not making it very inspiring or exciting to work on. Body, fuel, fox, the sweet, wily fox. I think that you're spending a little bit of time trying to trick yourself. You might be spending some time trying to be really clever in writing. It's really easy for especially authors to get stuck in this idea that everything they do, every little brush stroke, every word needs to be a unique, beautiful, hard processed thing. But spending a lot of time on that, because this is verging on the core, it's giving me this idea that you're really focused on how to make your thing unique. And that might be slowing you down a little bit. Writing something and then deleting it because you're like, ugh, that's trite, that's bullshit, that's whatever. That's helpful for editing. It's not helpful for writing. So number one, that's my first thought there. I do have wound with stress. Oh yeah, well, verging on summer, you have kind of an overarching stress field affecting you. And that stress is maybe pushing you to keep thinking like you need to keep reworking the thing. GD, yes, you're correct. If it touches one person, it is good. Over here in material, we have sin with secrets right on the edge of wheel. Mia, I do think that there's something here where externally there's something coming to you that's revealing a secret about what you're writing. This is so important, and it's like a general writing thing, is that some of the most boring people I've ever met are people who only write. Like, when I was in my master's program for poetry, the most exciting poetry in my group, I think, was always from people who poetry was secondary to them, or it was primary, but secondary was very close. Like, I had a good friend who is a programmer who was also doing poetry and writing programming poems, and that was so much more interesting than some of the people who were like, where do I put this comma though, because it changes everything. And I'm like, it kind of does, but like in a pedantic way that only we 6 people in this room care about. There is something outside of you that if you spend time with, listening to, watching, seeing, experiencing, you're going to find secrets for what you're writing right now. And that's going to be kind of a lovely unlocking moment. And that tells me a little bit that like your hang up right now, your creative blockage, is not entirely self-induced. Some of it's just you haven't quite gotten what you need yet to make it just right. So I would tell you to be mindful of the world around you and watch really closely and see what's out there, because there's something really helpful. Fell release on the edge of core. In spirit, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, like, you need to let go of the emotional weight that you're carrying with writing this. If you feel like you're a failure because you aren't finishing writing it, then that's going to be an issue that is going to prevent you from writing more. And if you feel like, oh, if I can't just make this happen, then like, should I even be writing this at all? Like, things like that and those kinds of thoughts are going to hamper you constantly. So let go of that. Your emotional worth, your emotional happiness is not hinged on whether or not you write this book. I have Tell with the breeze. There's something here that this is just like the Sin Secrets thing I just said. There is a breeze coming and you just need to kind of like ride that wave. There's external things that you can just let happen and go along with, and that's going to inspire and help support you and also give you some of your drive and energy back to feel positive about what you're doing. And then it was way over here, kind of lost, but we have Weird Twilight, Lost in Winter. So let your word diarrhea flow. Correct. Twilight and winter. That's kind of fun. There's some kind of thing here that could be really positive for you, which is letting yourself exist in some kind of fun liminal space. That would be a very positive situation. It's pervasive for your emotions. What does that mean? Go be in a liminal space. It'll make you feel better. Maybe it's a better reading to say that in your heart you feel like you're in this kind of liminal space, that you aren't moving forward, you aren't moving back, and that leaves you feeling a little bit stuck. And that has a lot to do with this, where you need to let go of the thought that you emotionally need to keep moving. I think that might be a little more helpful of a way to think about it or understand it. So be patient. Go into the world and see what's in it. You can find answers that way. It sometimes feels like I'm on the edge of dying. Mia, that's not good. That's not how it should feel to be writing, my dear friend. If you hinge too much weight on the idea that like you're only worthwhile if you make the thing, or if you're only worthwhile if you're making the thing right now, or you're only worthwhile if you're making the thing and it's really clever and better than everything else in the world, then like no one would write ever or finish a book. So, avoid that, my dear friend. Avoid that. Jack is asking for a reading. Was there anyone else that has asked for a reading who hasn't gotten one? Because I think I hit everyone already. If so, I'm happy to do Jack's right now. If not, I would love to get whoever is still waiting on a reading. I don't think I missed anyone. But keep me honest. Awesome. Okay. Jack, if you still have time, and I do, we have 35 more minutes in this reading session. I'm also happy to answer any questions, period, about the dice, about writing, about running projects. Think of this as like an open question answer area too, because I'm here and you have me, so make use of me. All right, Jack. I would like a reading. I would like to know if I should expect burnout and life chaos to continue for some time, or if there's some hope on the horizon. Mood. I feel like I have been running for years, project to project to project. Because I'm like, if I just do this, if this just makes this much money, then everything's settled. There's no debt and everything's good. And it's like, I get it. Jack, this is so relatable. All right. Should you be able to escape your burnout? I'm going to go ahead and say you should be able to escape your burnout. Let's see. I want weapons. I want fears. I want progress wherever you are. I really shouldn't have done these all pink and yellow. It makes it harder to figure out what I need. Train for movement. Let's do Monarch and Alchemist. What action should you take? Any major? And let's put Wound in there. Mythic Mystic Moon. As a brief side question, looking at the Keymaster and presuming they're also from Confluence as someone we can meet like the other lords. This is pretty meta, but my concept behind the Key Keepers is that they are, when I do the keys, when I make the keys, which for anyone who's not aware, I'm making a set of 7 keys that will be different metals, and they'll come with a book that helps you to comes with a book with like different rituals to perform with the keys, as the idea of being like a magic system, kind of a different way to move your energy and prepare for the day and stuff like that. And the key keepers and the keys themselves are a magical practice in my worlds. So are the key keepers a thing? I don't know. That's complicated. Are they in Confluence? Maybe. The keys themselves are, and the concept of their use is, but I don't know if the key keepers are real. Okay. Jack, let's see. Number 1, train. Ask for help. Hey Jack, this is a self read for me. Ask for help. You don't have to do it all yourself, my dear friend. That's number 1 about your burnout and having to push through the burnout forever. Way up here, I have copper in mind, which is next to woe. It tells me that I think so much of what you're dealing with right now is you're channeling the energy from people around you. Other people are struggling with stuff, and that weighs on you even more, and that makes you maybe even more afraid to ask for help. Number 1, it also makes you more in tune with how much chaos and burnout there is, because you're taking yours and other people's. So number 1, I think you can be empathetic to other people's problems, but you don't need to take them on. You can also ask for help even if they're struggling with things, because when we ask each other for help and we support one another even while we're struggling, it always lightens the burden for everyone. We do have ourselves as a fear between mind and spirit. Ourselves as a fear really focuses on our worry about what we would do in different situations, our worry about what we're currently doing, whether or not it's coming through in a way that's helpful. I think that one of the reasons that you're not willing to ask for assistance in this is that you're worried about what you would do if you gave up control to some extent, or you're worried about what you will do if things keep becoming more difficult. And that can mean a lot of things, right? I find often that I'm worried about sharing space with other people, especially when it's control for a project or job or whatever it is. I find that I always have worries about handing over control because I don't know how to share that space as well. And so I don't know how I will react to people doing things in ways I wouldn't do it, maybe. In body, we have a line here that goes straight into material with loss. So there's an egg, and there's finance. Financial progress go down. Financial progress go down to egg. Egg goes to loss, into material. And then down here is gut wound. I think that so much of what you're focused on with the burnout is something that's maybe a little bit undoable, my dear friend. You can't dive so deeply that you don't have anything left. I think it's pretty clear. Running on burnout forever leads to bad. There's no good leading here, which is to say you have to stop the burnout itself. It doesn't mean you have to just push through constantly. It means that you have to slow down. You have to share space for yourself and your own brain and your mental health. It also means you need to have space to shoulder the burden with someone else so that you can take rest, because if you keep going, it looks like downward trajectory. I also have personal transformation down here. Personal transformation, edge of autumn, and material. Personal transformation is kind of like hanging out in autumn, so it's a pervasive theme to how the world is affecting you. It seems like maybe a lot of people are watching and waiting for you to make a change, and I think that making a positive change for yourself could mean taking on less work, removing some of the stuff that's on your plate. It can mean sharing with people, I think it's something that other people might even just be waiting for you to do, to be honest. So ask. In spirit, we have nails. This is from the weapons die. Nails is very focused on very pinpoint, targeted pain or damage. I think that the more that you push yourself to work on things or to push through the chaos, the more you're just driving these nails in, and they're kind of like pinning down things about you. They're pinning down traits and personality and joy, and that makes it harder for you to share that with other people. And I think that one of the things with loss over here is like when you continue on this path of just gritting your teeth and bearing it, it's a downward trajectory that kind of pushes you away from people, and that's why people are waiting for this change. They expect you to one day like come through it, and if you just keep going in the same way you are, you don't go through it in a way that they thought you would. You go through it just like punching your way through the wall, and that's not good for your hand. So ask for help. Slow down. It's okay if not everything is working out exactly right. You just gotta have time and space for yourself. Okay, if you still have time, yeah, we did that. It's a brief side question. Look in the Keymaster. Yeah, I hit that. Tarot Freak, thanks for doing the live. I'm looking for more consistent income and winded. If you could have some suggestions for me. Tarot Freak, sure. Yeah, we can do that. Let me answer your other questions real quick. This is a tricky question. Do you have a personal favorite die amongst the dice? Lately, my personal favorite is this guy. This is the attentions die from the season set. It focuses on like how much attention you want on something or how much attention something is receiving. I don't know. I think it's just the colors. It's just really doing it for me lately. I keep going to it over and over and over. So bizarre. Oh, people are excited about the keys. Well, thanks. That's really good to hear. Unfortunately, the keys are really far away because I want time and space to just sit with the idea and work on it over time. And that's why it's like 500 days away. I'm really hoping that by the time we get to October next year, I will have had space and time to like rest and like think about things in a slower manner so that I can do that. Yeah. Okay. Tarot Freak, let's take a look at your question. I'm looking for more consistent income and was hoping that you had some suggestions in the dice. Let's see what we've got. I'm going to use that die. I just said that I love the attentions die because I love it so much. What do you care about? What's toxic maybe to stay away from? I want to know what direction you want to go in. Okay. Hey, my favorite die is in the middle. This is the lantern, which usually means that it's something personal that you're carrying. It's meant to be shared with a few other people. This tells me that as an answer to what you should be doing is it's something that you want to share with other people, but you're trying to do it in a personal manner. It's not the neon sign and it's not the spotlight. You're not showing it to the whole world, but it might be a very particular niche that you care deeply for and you really want to show people, open their eyes to. Out here in mind, we have good intentions from the toxicity die. My first warning to you, sorry to start with warnings, I guess, but bear in mind that when you have good intentions for something but haven't thought through it deeply, that doesn't always come out very well. Sometimes it ends up hurting other people. In this case, if you're thinking about other forms of income, thinking about things that you're just like, oh, this would be really nice to do, or I would really enjoy that, I'll just do it. And then you try it and you put it like a lot of time and effort trying to plan and set it up. If it's something that's not fully thought through, it could just end up being like a harmful thing for your ultimate thought process. I do see the gear here, which is telling me that there's something involved in manufacturing and creating things that are physical objects in some way. That's something that maybe you're thinking about. I'm not seeing anything that's saying like that's the way to go, but it does look like you're thinking about making things for people. There's no other dice really hanging out with it, so I don't have a clear idea of like what that looks like. But it's not digital, I guess. We have ocean and body. You are currently doing things that have a lot of repercussions. I think one of the concerns and worries is on the ocean's way bigger than you. And I would be hesitant to do something without spending a little time and research to make sure you're being respectful of the space you're working in, maybe. There are some people who'd go to the edge of the ocean and slap some water around and be like, look, I can control where the water goes. And then it's like, okay, but now go out in the middle of the ocean and figure out how quickly that's not true. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with my interpretation of ocean here in bodies. Make sure that what you're doing has a proper understanding and respect for the depth of the thing that you're in, because it's really going to be easy for people to look at something that you do without a lot of reverence and patience for what you're doing and be like, that's too shallow for me to want to wade in. And I would say, like, because this is a personal niche thing, that makes it all the more important to me that because it's personal to you, that like, you really give it a lot of thought and make sure that what you're sharing is something that's like made from your heart. We have others here. This isn't. Wait a minute. Save me. Yeah, this is loyalty. Materially, it looks like loyalty to others is what we have here. It's the die that's just on the edge of body. So I'm assuming this is heavily related to the thing that you're making. I think that's actually really good. I think that right here with the lamp here, the lantern, this is focusing you on things that are deeply important to you and deeply important to the people that you're pulling in for the specific thing. And if you have loyalty to others in the making of this thing, that's going to make it all the more true and honest. And that's going to make it better. The one thing that we're not seeing in this reading anywhere is anything that has to do with money so far. I'm not seeing anything that's like telling me that you make money from this or that you don't make money from this. The thing that I'm seeing more than anything is like how true and honest you're being to it, and how much it will resonate with you and other people when you go to make it. I know that your question was very particularly about more consistent income. And it's giving me feelings here that like what you're thinking about as like side things you could do may be more about like how it could be fulfilling for you than it is money. And just like from that point, I would say like if you're trying to make money and money alone, I would be very, very careful about counting out jobs that you just do for money and you don't care about all that much. Because this is really nice to me. We do have a desire to be masked here. We have a desire to have like an identity that is hidden so that people aren't seeing you directly. And in spirit, I see eclosion where you're emerging from a cocoon, which tells me like there is fruition in your heart through following this. I also see copper and a helm. I don't know. What I'm seeing here more than anything is like a feeling that you want to explore something that has deep meaning to you more than it's financially stable even. That doesn't mean that you can't find something that does both, but I don't know. I'm getting the feeling that it might be more important to you, even if you had a job that paid really well, to do something that you actually feel passionate about instead. So, put the mental gears to work on that one, on whether or not you are okay with being a poor person like me, or just to do the things that bring you fulfillment, because sometimes it's worth it. Thank you. That's very sweet of you to say. Well, y'all, we have about 20 minutes left, and I have no one else on the reading queue. So I would love to know anyone else's thoughts or questions. Just anything else anyone's got. If you got questions about the project, you got questions about the Alleyman or my games or anything, I'm here. I am present for you. Also, we're at $43,742. That is pretty good. 312 backers. The backer train did end and start again at least once. It might have been twice now, which is rude. I expect a constant stream of people, darn it. Mia, if a die lands in core, it's number one. Yeah, I usually start in the core. So if you have a die end up there, I would be like, this is really central to the reading, and it ties to like everything else in the reading in some way. And it's always where I start because it feels like it's central to the rest. So I always want it to be on our minds when we do other parts. Black and White 1024. That's a cool die. I remember seeing that in the reading tutorials you made. If you're able, may I have a reading on career? Yeah. Dimitri, what has been your favorite project to work on? What are your favorite scents? Favorite project to work on? You know, I feel like I've done a million billion hours of preparation for this project. And so I'm like pretty excited about all the things that we have coming. So that's like sitting in my brain. I really love the Oracle dice. They're my favorite divination tool I've made, so it's delightful for me. What are your favorite scents, like perfume and cologne? I'm a bougie girl over here. I love my Baccarat Rouge. It's such a nice scent. But I like things that are a little deep, a little bit floral, a little dark. Those are my favorites. Do you have any advice on delving into my own attempts at making TTRPGs and other creative endeavors? TTRPGs are a super saturated space, so I would say be mindful of the fact that if you work on one, it doesn't necessarily like pay back dividends financially, but people will like support you if you make something really cool and unique that you care about a lot and that you clearly put heart and time into. Like Confluence did a lot less money than I was hoping. However, it also did more than any other of my game projects by like 3 times. So like I can't even complain. Something that has heart in it will be seen and respected. Has Tom been featured in any cards of your decks? Yes. Tom is in the 8 or 9 of cats in the Alleyway Tarot. So he's in there along with a bunch of other cats that we have had, my roommates and I. And 2 mice, I think, that we also had. 2 rats, sorry. I have the Alleyman's deck, but no boosters. Possibly add boosters as add-ons. Oh, probably not, no. I really wish I could. But the thing is, Flipmouse, if you reach out at the end of the campaign, or maybe when we're going to ship, we could just package boosters with your package and charge you for them. I can't make another add-on that makes it like a million times more complicated for every single item for my people who are fulfilling for me. But they do have the boosters at the warehouse where they'll be packing. So we could set that up like for you specific. It's just a little more of a specific dealio. All right. Black and White. No, we're not. Tom, we're not done. You can't just sit your booty on the... Bro. I want to do a career reading for B&W 1024, rude boy. What do you think you're doing? Let's see. Obstacles. I will throw the seasons. All right, butthead. Okay, but you have to roll the dice. Can you roll the dice for me? Oh, he's licking my finger. What if I just roll on top of you? How do you feel about that? He does not care. Tom is at the core of the issue. The reading says get a cat. Yeah, black and white 1024. Can you just get a cat? That'll solve your career reading. Reading around my cat a little bit here. Okay, we have seed, peace, and the summer's fist in your mind. If I'm honestly reading here, I would say that you just moved your belly on top. You're so annoying. New things are unfolding, but at the same time, there's kind of like peace with the things that you're already doing in your career. So even though there's new options, the question is like, do you actually give up what you're doing right now, which is pretty stable? And in order to go after this new thing, you'd have to kind of shake the boat. Either it'd be like quitting your job or leaving a department you're in for like a new position, something like that. It's tied directly to passing in body over here, which is telling me that you would have to let things go to do a new thing, and that seems to lead to some issues maybe. In material, I am seeing togetherness, like other people feel like they have a connection to you maybe in your current space and career, and so leaving them would definitely break that, and that will leave people with some hard feelings. Oh, thanks, Tom. Yeah, just lay down. That's delightful. I already finished all those dice. It's fine. So down here, we do have the disc, and then moon, sword and shield, the train. I'm reading that there is like financial reasons to move on, maybe. But maybe if you told your place that you're thinking about something else, it could potentially push them to raise what you're making now, or change your job around in a materially beneficial way to you. That's really risky, but it's kind of here. I am also seeing moon, which suggests that there's like some maybe false paths available to you. There may be things you think are options for you to go to do, but they actually aren't. So I would be really, really careful on any changes that you're going to make, because if you don't get something in writing for like a new job or new position, for example, and then you like tell your job you're moving on, like that could be bad. However, I'm seeing like there's something really good here to go along with the movement. There's opportunity for you to try something different, and it might just be the right thing to do. I see the sword and shield here between spirit and material. It's telling me that you have the tools necessary to make change that's going to make you happy. That's also suggesting to me that there's change to be made. And then we have the ghost, but the ghost is on its own, which is bizarre. The ghost usually means that what it's near is something kind of haunting the reading. It's something underlying, maybe from a past experience. Since it's on its own in spirit, I'm definitely seeing like your emotional happiness is kind of haunting the rest of the reading and the question. So it seems like maybe you're not happy where you are, even though things are kind of working and it's peaceful and it's nice and you have other people you trust. But you're really hoping that if you do something else, it just makes you happier. The sword and shield here in Mythic Mystic Moon, this is the fantasy die. It was in the Alleyway Oracles, and it's part of the Keykeeper set now. So yeah, I think that's probably worthwhile changing things up if you think it could make things better. However, I'm also seeing like there's nothing wrong with staying where you are. And in fact, it looks like you already have connections and stuff that might work. So I guess weigh the options of whether or not you want to leave things behind and potentially throw away some of the relationships that you already have for something new. Tom is in autumn. Tom in the core indicates that you might be caring too much about something that isn't that important. You know, Tom agrees. If you aren't eating food and eating delicious food, what's the point of being alive? Tom is wise. Ain't that right, baby? Oh, yeah. Get you on camera. Pay these bills, kitty. What a good boy. Mythic Mystery Moon, another question. Any advice on how to practice with the dice when I don't want to do readings for myself, but also don't have anyone else to read for? I get stuck in this scenario a fair bit. Yeah. Sometimes I just do readings for other people, even if they don't know I'm doing it. Maybe that's morally questionable to some people, depending on your beliefs on what divination does. Sometimes I'll just do a reading on like situations in the world. You could just do readings on what might happen next with a celebrity. You could do readings on what your friend is up to. You could do readings for like really nonsense reasons. You can also just roll dice and start doing a reading and then try to understand what it's doing afterwards, right? There's a lot of times when I roll dice when I guess technically it's for myself, but like I don't know that, and I'm not asking a question. I'm just gonna roll the dice and see what narrative comes of it. And that's the other way to look at it, is it's just like a narrative engine. So make a story. What does it say? And I think that that's helpful. Tom needs his own die. You know, everyone in the earlier reading thing also said Tom needs a die. And I'm looking at this cat, and I don't think so. He's kind of just trouble. He's kind of just a big dummy butt who doesn't know anything except for food and scream. And actually, he unplugged my phone last night. My phone is this webcam that's right here, actually. He's such a butt. That's spot on. I work part time in an escape room. Well, that's fun. But some factors around it do make it tricky. It's nice to know it's not as unstable as I think. It seems like you have a lot of like support and like companionship at that job. So if you leave it, just understand you're kind of letting go of that. And the thing you seem to be chasing is, yeah, some financial stability maybe, but you're also looking for like something that's even more fulfilling in some way. I think that's really easy to be at a job that's like fun and silly and sometimes feel like this isn't like fulfilling me as like a serious relevant career. And one of the best things we can do in capitalism is unlearn the fear that like our job isn't important, because if you're having fun there, like, god, you don't live to make capital for other people. Hopefully you live to have a fun, beautiful, exciting, inspiring life, you know. So if you're working part-time in an escape room and it is making ends meet, there's no real reason to go to anything else unless you want to be at something else or you need more money than it's bringing you. Those are my thoughts. Of course, I quit my day job so that I could make things full time as a dweeb who makes divination tools. So what do I know? What do you think, Tom? Sincerely. All right, my friends, we've got about 5 minutes left. If anyone has any last minute burning thoughts, now is your time. I was about to say we can't do any more readings, but then Tom was suddenly like, no, it's okay, I'm leaving. Okay, I have time for one more 5-minute reading. Someone has to ask the most important, weird question of all time. Because if you don't ask now, you'll explode without asking. You know? Can we all collectively play with the cat? I'm going to do a reading. Are you ready? Yes. There is a singular, beautiful new thought in our minds, and it's collectively playing with one cat. Let's all gather around Tom Bombadil and all pet him at the same time. I'm sure he won't become overstimulated and have to leave immediately. Are fairies real? There's a beautiful new thought in your mind about it. You're storing a lot of information about it. It's bringing you sorrow. There's radiance in your heart. I think it doesn't matter if fairies are real. I think that you're more excited about the possibility of them being real. And that is fulfilling for you. A reading for chat in general. All right, everyone. This is your takeaway. Let's throw the D6 in there. Ooh, we have luck in summer. The things we're working on is very exciting and lovely. Also in summer is excess. I think that this means that everyone should spend as much money as possible on the Goblin's Oracle Dice backer kit project, and that if you don't, you're fired. In mind, there's some self reflection going on. Self reflection into excess seems questionable. I would question who actually has self reflection if they're then committing excess, unless they were like, this is the time to go too hard on partying or drinking or shopping or whatever. But I support that. I think that's delightful. Thank you. In spirit, we have sex in the chariot here, the wagon, the cart, the journeyman's carriage. I think it's called a carriage. I have no idea what this die face is called. I know exactly what it means. I always forget what I decided to call it. I think it's wagon, but it's a carriage. It's a chariot. It's fine. It doesn't matter. words aren't relevant. I think that the sex here with the carriage here is saying that we all need to try to have sex in a carriage at some point in our lives. Or maybe we need to watch like Downton Abbey. Do characters have sex in a carriage in Downton Abbey? I feel like they would. I've never watched Downton Abbey. I'm so sorry if someone's a big fan and I'm just speaking nothing about it. This is actually a really weird reading. So there's luck pervading what you're doing. You're engaging in excess through that. You self-reflected and still went on to do this, so that's fine. The world's not affecting you in any relevant way. And in your heart, you're passionate about fulfilling something that brings you like joy in a physical, tangible sense. And you're like coming to the end of it. Things reach their ends. All right, friends. Well, it's been delightful. Thank you, everyone who came and hang out to get a reading, to watch readings. I hope that it was another nice showing of how the dice work. I think for tomorrow, because I'll also be doing readings tomorrow, of course, I'll have to just flip this over and actually read on the side that I never read on. Isn't that wild, everyone? Isn't that wild that I made a two-sided cloth and then I ignore the past, present, future side always? So I think tomorrow it will be past, present, future style readings only. Join me if you'd like. I'm doing it basically the same times I did today. I'm just starting and ending an hour earlier for the night stream. So I will see you all later. Have a delightful evening. Go about your lives. Do fun things.